palina lahi lahi I ka ho'opulu mahui ala ka hune hune o ke kai. The ukulele was actually first introduced here in the islands by the early immigrants that came over from Portugal in the late 1800s. The Hawaiians were so fascinated watching their fingers move up and down the fingerboard that it reminded them of a jumping flea, which uku is flea and lele means to leap.
People just love the sound and for the Hawaiian music and dance. It was perfect. But even then we sang all cowboy songs too.
We wouldn't have the ukulele today if it weren't for the Kamaka family. You know, they really invented the modern day ukulele.
It's a family-run business, and the love that we put into our business is the same love that we have for our family. So it's sharing our family with the world.
Kamaka was first started by my grandfather back in 1916. He was a musician, started building the instruments in his garage as a hobby. Eventually, he built the first factory.
I started working for my father when I was 4. And if you came into my father's shop, 1930, his question to you would be, how many would you like? This is stockings, $5 each.
In the early days, my dad was creating ukulele in a traditional guitar shape. One day, one of the people visiting says, why don't you create an oval ukulele? And that's the birth of our pineapple ukulele.
My father made instruments, but from my mother's side, they were all professional entertainers. My mother was what they call a kumu today. She taught hula. We grew up with music, entertaining, hula dancing.
We'd love to watch the girls do it.
People always ask me, what is the difference between your ukuleles and everyone else's ukuleles? And I said, well, you know, we make them. But the main difference to me is it has soul. You know, there's a soul in it. We try to bring it to life.
In my father's shop, the saws, the sanding machines, all had belts. And if you weren't careful to put the belts on, hold up your finger. We have them all. Didn't lose any. We didn't lose any. He was a perfectionist. I knew because every time I did something wrong, I was making a piece of junk. He refused to sell it. My father was dying in December '53, so he called us home. He said, I don't know if you two are going to take over the business, but if you do, he said, don't you dare ever ruin that name by making, and he was looking right at me when he said it, junk. We decided to take over the business, and we started to use 2 Ks for 2 of us.
You know, they had a great partnership going. Whereas my grandfather did everything, the 2 brothers sort of split it. And, you know, some say Sam got the Hawaiian side, so he's the craftsman, and Fred got the Chinese side, so he's the businessman.
If it weren't for Kamaka ukuleles, I wouldn't be able to play the way that I play. Their instruments are sensitive, and I tell people that's what you need. You need a sensitive instrument, and the Kamaka ukuleles just respond to everything that you do. You're able to have this tremendous tonal vocabulary, and they're made to do that. And it pushes me to keep improving my craft.
Most family businesses don't make it past the first generation, and very few, if any, make it past the second generation. And usually it's because the children go on and do other things.
When we were young, my dad would put us to work. And then after high school, I wanted to go off and do something else for a while. After I became a pilot, it still afforded me enough time off where I could always come back and help him.
I really didn't think I was gonna be part of the business. I was gonna go into the Air Force. But when I actually first jumped in those small planes, I said, no, this is not for me.
Generating the sound the instrument produces, the soundboard is the main component. And what I'm doing here is shaping the braces that are underneath the soundboard. You still need the strength, but you still need the flexibility for the vibration to be able to transverse across the top. But as you lighten these braces up and you adjust the shapes of them, acoustically it starts to come alive.
The job Chris does, which is the day-to-day production manager job, he can sit there and he can check, 15 ukuleles every day to keep things going out the door.
What I'm looking for basically is to make sure the action of the strings is at the correct height, evenly spaced and lined up, as well as the height of the saddle. So when the customer picks up the ukulele, it's comfortable to play. And, you want them to pick up the ukulele and not put it down.
Here at Kamaka, you definitely need a good ear and a good eye, especially if you're the final check like my dad. But he doesn't catch everything, but for the most part, he's pretty good. But once in a while, you gotta keep him in check,
I think Sam would be proud of what we've been able to accomplish, that we've been able to keep the company going. Now that there are some fourth generation members working at the company, hopefully it'll continue.
Kiss me. Kiss me, my darling, I'm not as flexible as I used to be, but I can still occasionally sing a melody to keep the ukulele going. So in a year or so, we'll be able to celebrate 100 years in Kamaka family creating the ukulele. And it's been a fabulous journey. Aloha.